Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Saturday at Madrasa Noorul Ulum in Gataman, Palanpur, North Gujarat, India. Hazrat Wala, so this year, Saturday, is the 17th of Ramadan, 1444, corresponding with the English date, 8th of April 2023. This majlis took place before the Zohr Salat. Hazrat Wala quotes the ayat of the Quran Majid, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Hazrat Wala goes on to say that this silsila and pattern of giving majlis and discourses has been carrying on from before, rather even before Ramadan. And in the month of Ramadan, twice, before the Zohr Salat at about 11 o'clock, and then after the Taraweeh Salat. And in giving bayan also, there is mehnat, there is an effort there. However, to become acquainted with Kalamullah and to take benefit from it, Allah Ta'ala give us that tawfiq. It is the month of striving and making mujahada. Yes, you will achieve if you strive. It is the month of tilawat and roza, and that of tazkiyah and reformation as well. And then thereafter, after the Ramadan, we come to the months of Hajj, and then if we made effort and we strived here, then we will make mushahadat on that side. Then we will actually witness the results of it in those months. So in the Quran, there is a system and how Allah Ta'ala wants things, and why did He send the Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam? Allah Ta'ala made the system. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة. So Allah Ta'ala made this nisab, set out this order and syllabus, if you want to call it, and whatever things would come to the fore, difficulties, trials, etc., Allah Ta'ala has prescribed the cure and the treatment for it as well. Everything is found in the Quran. Hazrat Maulana Shafadur Rahman, people used to come to him with a book on suluk and tasawwuf, and he would say, move away. The Quran is sufficient, meaning in the Quran Allah speaks about huzn and grief, khawf, fear, raja, hope. So is all this here not the very same topics that we speak about in suluk and tasawwuf? The Quran has an external dimension and an internal dimension as well. On one occasion, so many muhaddithin all gathered there at the Jalsa. Maulana Taqiyuddin was also there. The program then already started from 9 in the morning right up till 1, and then they had given me some few minutes to speak. So then I said to the muhaddithin there, the people, that the Quran has an external and an internal, just like how the hadith has an external and an internal. From the morning up till now, you people have been speaking about the external dimension of hadith. Now get ready to listen to the internal dimension of hadith. So the Quran also has the external portion and the internal portion. If you want to understand the outward meaning of the Quran, you would have to then take the dhahr of the hadith, the outward aspect of the ahadith, and then you will understand that part of the tafsir. And if you want to understand the internal part of the tafsir, you will have to go to the internal part of the hadith to understand it, because that is where you would get the tafsir of it. Now how Allah Ta'ala opened up ulum and knowledge, here Hazrat Wala is quoting to Sayyidina Muhyiddin ibn Arabi. Allah Ta'ala bless us with the love of the Quran. Allah Ta'ala give us ta'alluq and the strong relationship with the Quran, and Allah Ta'ala open up the secrets and the ulum and the ma'arif of the Quran to us. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah used to go out in the remote places there in those masjids where there would be no one there, he would engage in ibadat, he would throw himself into sajda, and then he would cry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, "Oh Allah, just like how you opened up the meanings of the Quran, the secrets and the ulum, the knowledge of the Quran to certain individuals of the ummah, open it up to me as well. Allahu Akbar." You know, when we say Allahu Akbar, at that time the heart disassociates itself with the dunya. So your niyat must be correct. You know, Hazrat Maulana Abrar al-Haq used to start off his salat, and then after a little while he would say the takbir-e-tahrima again. And then we used to think, well, what's happening here? And then we would understand it this way, that Maulana is making tajdeed. He started his namaz again, he renewed again and started again. Why? Because he did not find that desired type of a niyat in the start, due to which he then renewed his niyat and his takbir-e-tahrima. So al-ilmu nurun, ilm is nur. The nur of ilm is a very great treasure. Just like how you have the sanad, from who you are relating, going up, etc. Similarly, you have this nur, which is also taken from generation to generation. Allah Ta'ala bless us with this ulum and ma'arif. And it just doesn't stop there. Aage barna, move forward, progress. With the barakat of Ramadan, Allah Ta'ala bless us with this internal and batini dawlat. So the kitab that I have here in front of me, of a very great Buzruk and Wali, Ibn Ata Askandari, he is saying here that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basata sirra Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam binuri rida. Allah Ta'ala opened up the heart of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam with the nur of rida, which is when a person is completely and totally pleased and happy with the choice and the decision and the taqdeer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He hands himself over to Allah. وَأَعْطَاهُ رُوحَ الْإِسْتِسْلَامِ. Allah Ta'ala blessed him with the essence of istislam, accepting and handing himself over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala blessed him, rather protected his heart from turning its gaze towards people. And it is because of this that Allah Ta'ala returned that blazing and scorching fire into peace and coolness. Allah Ta'ala does not do it except for that person who completely and totally hands himself over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when a person hands himself over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he is blessed with peace. And when a person rectifies his batin, it is then when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses him with izzat and karamat. So this is what we want. We must make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it as well, for the taqwa. How can we do it on our own? We have to hand ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma aati nafsi taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khairu man zakkaha anta waliyuha wa maulaha. Oh Allah, bless my nafs with its piety and purify it, for you are the best who can purify it. Anta waliyuha wa maulaha. You are the owner of this nafs, you are the guardian of this nafs. If we are the individuals, Saheb nafs, next to this nafs, then oh Allah, you are the creator, you are the maker of this nafs. Just like we have to sort this nafs out and make it right, purify it, oh Allah, you also have a haqq on it because you are the creator of it. You know the kafir, just like how he makes claims here in this dunya, there he would also make claims that we love you, then Allah Ta'ala will say to them there on the day of Qiyamah, if you then so love me, then do me a favor, jump into the fire. But their adat and their habit and their nature was always that of disobedience to Allah. So there the true colors of it will show once again, due to which they would deny. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will direct that same hukam to the mu'mineen and tell them to jump into the fire of Jahannam. They will run and throw themselves into the fire of Jahannam. And at that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make i'lan that, O fire, kuni bardaw wa salaman ala al-mu'mineen, ala al-mukhlisin, become cool and a source of peace for the mu'mineen and for those who have ikhlas. Allah Ta'ala bless us with His muhabbat. Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbaka wa hubba man yuhibbuka wa hubba amali yuqarribu ila hubbik. Oh Allah, bless me with your love and the love of the one who loves you and the love of that amal which will grant me proximity to you. Now you people know, Muhabbatullahi al-qismain, the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in two categories, fardun wa nudubun, one which is fard and the other one which is mustahab. So much of muhabbat of Allah you must have for fard, so that that section which is fard, so that it will allow you and make you, compel you to carry out the faraiz. And so much of the muhabbat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you need to have within yourself that will allow you and compel you to carry out that which is mustahab and mandub. Allah Ta'ala bless us also with a great portion of this knowledge. So Iman, perfection of Iman, and Iman to its greatest point and heights. Allah Ta'ala bless us with that in this month, the month of Ramadan, because it is the person who keeps his siyam imanan, with iman, in the state of strong iman, and with iman understanding it that Allah Ta'ala has made obligatory and farz upon us this, wa ihtisaba, and he has great hope of rewards with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding these a'mal that he carries out. So here we are being given a very vigorous training that we even stay away from the permissible things. Then how will we ever then go to the impermissible things after the month of Ramadan? You know, there in our sections in certain areas about certain people, it came to us, we came to learn that the entire month of Ramadan they were there, they were doing this, that, the other. But as soon as the moon for Eid was sighted, they all gathered at the brothels and at the shabeens to go and drink, and wine drinking and liquor. Now tawfiq is something very, very great. We should make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this. So you may be doing it now, but what guarantee of tawfiq, hidayat and inspiration do you have for tomorrow or for the future? That's why I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this. Allahumma inni as'aluka at-tawfiqa li mahabbika min al-a'mal wa sidqa at-tawakkuli alayk wa husna az-zanni bik. Oh Allah, I ask you for the inspiration to do those a'mal which are most beloved to you. Now Hakim Ifhamullah cried profusely on the demise of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb. And then people said, okay, calm down and don't worry and everything. Hazrat is gone now. And that he says, what was his impression at that time after weeping so much? He said, but tell me, who will teach us du'as of this nature? And he referred and makes specific reference to this particular dua in which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, ask, beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawfiq and hidayat to do good deeds, those deeds which are beloved to him. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb had such a passion for dua. He would say, when it came to the nights of Qadr, he would say, take the Munajat al-Maqbool and read it from end to end. Everything, all the du'as, everything to be asked is mentioned in there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is prepared to give us, when we do abundance of a'mal, then Allah ta'ala also gives us the in'amat and the rewards and the blessings of it. You know, it brings great happiness to me that I see you people engaged in a'mal. Allah Ta'ala give us the qadr, the tawfiq and the hidayat of appreciating the moments, one moment of Ramadan. They are so great, they are so wonderful, they are so full of barakat. فَتَعَرَّضُوا لَهَا. Go forward, intercept it and take it. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of benefiting from the fuyuz and the barakat of Ramadan. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to be very worried about this. He used to send me and say, go and see in the Khanqa, is there anybody engaged in useless talks, political talks, spending their time in this, that and the other? And he would go on to say to this extent that if you got nothing to do, if you are not doing anything, don't be engaged in layani, rather go and sleep away. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of appreciating Ramadan. He would say, I'm not going out to take a walk or a stroll or this or that. I'm going out to read Quran. And it is known that he would make one khatam of the Quran every day. So al-ujratu biqadri al-mashaqqa. Allah will reward you according to your effort that you had made. Rather, Allah Ta'ala will give complete reward even though the effort is incomplete and weak. So Ibn Ata Iskandari has written this kitab. It is an amazing kitab. We reached Makkah Mukarramah and I was still looking for the Arabic of this kitab. I sent people out and about 2 a.m. in the morning they came away bringing this kitab, the Arabic of it. So I actually have this kitab in front of me and I want to read from it because the wordings of the Musannif are full of nur and the way they present it as well. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to do the very same. He used to put a kitab in front of him and then he would then give dars from there to Hazrat Qari Tayyib Sahab and all the ulama who would then come and sit in his majalis. Rather, when Hazrat Qari Tayyib Sahab came, he didn't even know what he was teaching, but he opened up the Hujjatullah al-Baligha and started giving dars from there and explaining great articles and topics from there, whereas he knew even not. And we used to say to ourselves that Allah Ta'ala has inspired him, gave him ilham. That's why he had taken out this kitab today. Hazrat Maulana Ashiq Ilahi Sahab was there. I was in that gathering and somebody came and said, Hazrat, now this happened and that happened and what will we do? So he said, go and do your work. Do what you have to do. This year has been happening for the past 1400 years. This attack and onslaught on Islam. Do what you have to do. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala used to say that if this ummah wants to make its islah, they will have to adopt the very same things which the former people of this ummah adopted. They will have to take that and do that. So supurdagi, the stafweez that we hand ourselves over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the students of Hazrat Shah Anwar Kashmiri came to Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab and he complained about the disobedience of his children. He was very restless in that regard. And Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab then made talqeen to him of this dua, Allahumma aslih li fi dhurriyati. Oh Allah, you grant righteousness in my offspring. Meaning you're doing what you have to do, but hand it over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can be having so many different professions and you can be a master in all of those. Then too, you would have to put your tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All these paths are the paths of hidayat to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in reaching to Allah. Somebody reaches by means of tilawat, somebody reaches by means of dhikr, another person then reaches by means of spending in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sayyidina Rifai used to say that I went to the different doors of the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I found long lines, they were all full. I then adopted ajizi, helplessness, that I cannot do. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will make it right. I made this, adopted this year, and then I went and I reached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through that door, whereas all the people, I entered the court of Allah, where people were then still standing outside. So just to say it, it's quite simple, but for a person to understand himself to be that, to lower himself to that extent, is some type of a definite task. जिसने मिटाया अपना नामो निशा हफ्त इक़लीम का बना sultan, the person who has humbled himself, erased his effects and his traces completely and totally, he has become so accepted, rather he has become the king of all the world. Metro apna namo nisha mita beta, shohra ura diya mera kisne. I sat hidden away here, hiding myself completely and totally. I wonder who went around making and spreading this word of fame of mine. Nagma-e sarmadi ko suna ke hame, mast o bekhud bana diya hame kisne. Listening to the words, eternal words referring to the Quran and Majid, we have been made to listen to these words. I wonder who has made me completely lose myself and taking me into a state of complete intoxication. We're talking about the spiritual sense. Hazrat Haji Imdadullah was not too well on one occasion. So somebody told the Hafiz Sahib, hey, listen, Haji Sahib is not well. Tonight when you read the Taraweeh, don't read the full portion, read a bit less, in taking some consideration that Hazrat is not well. The Hafiz Sahib done exactly that. After the Taraweeh Salat, Hazrat Haji Imdadullah looks at the Hafiz. He addresses him and he says, Hafiz Sahib, what's wrong? You're not well today? You read a lesser portion? He said, Hazrat, I done it all in your consideration. People told me that you are sick. He says, oh, when it comes to the Quran and Quran is recited, then there are no traces and sign of sickness then after that. There will be no greater intercessor than the Quran Majid. Have ta'alluq and a great strong relationship with the Quran, with namaz, with dhikr, with durood. According to how much we have it, that's how much of sukoon we will get. But not only for now, continue with it after the month of Ramadan. If you're reading 5 juz now, then at least after the month of Ramadan, read 1 juz. Khairul amal ma'adima alayh. The best of actions are those which are done constantly, consistently. The most proximity that a person gains is with that of tilawat of the Quran Majid. Imam Ahmad, speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sees Allah ta'ala, he asks Allah, bima ataqarrabu ilayk, how will I gain closeness to you? And then Allah ta'ala says, bi tilawati kalami, by recitation of my kalam. He then again says, oh Allah, bi fahmin aw bila fahmin, with understanding or without understanding. Allah ta'ala goes on to say, bi fahmin aw bila fahmin, in whichever way, whether it's with understanding or without understanding, you will gain proximity to you. You know, you have to make mudawamat. It was our habit to sit Abdal Ishraq Salat. Rather, it was the hukam of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab that we engaged in dhikr at that time. On one occasion, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab was going out. So I also went. Everybody is going to meet him. People all gathered. When I went and he seen me, the minute his gaze fell on me, he said, Tumse kaha nahi ki Ishraq tak baita karo? Did I not say to you that you must sit until Ishraq? Go. Khoon-e dil peene ko, लख्ते जिगर खाने को, यही ग़िज़ा मिलती है जाना तेरी दीवाने को. Listen, you will have to undergo difficulty. You will have to tolerate. You will have to swallow the bitter pill. Then you will achieve something. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of doing it. Allah Ta'ala give us mudawamat and istiqamat. So here, whoever turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah Ta'ala will help him. When the time and occasion of imtihan comes, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if a person hands himself over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah Ta'ala will turn the thorns into beautiful scented flowers and roses. And Allah Ta'ala will turn fear into peace. Therefore, when shaitan throws you into the catapult of trial and tribulation, and then the entire world comes to you saying, Alaka haja, do you need any help? Then at that time say, Amma ilayki fala, Listen, from you? No, not at all. وَأَمَّا إِلَى اللَّهِ فَبَلَى. Yes, from Allah, talking about help? Most definitely. فَإِنْ قَالَتْ لَكَ سَلْهُ. And if they have to say to you, then if you want your help from Allah, then ask Allah. Then at that time say, Hasbi min su'ali ilmuhu bihali. Has sufficed from me asking him his knowledge about my condition. Allah knows about this. فَإِنَّ اللَّهُ يُعِيدُ عَلَيْكَ نَارَ الدُّنْيَا بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا. At that time Allah Ta'ala will repel, will push away the nar, the fire of this world, and turn it into peace and coolness and salamity for you, and Allah Ta'ala will give you great rewards and ikram and honor, because Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala had opened for the Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam the roads of Hidayat, and after that also who followed them? Who followed this path of Hidayat of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam? It was that of the mu'mineen. So Allah Ta'ala also speaks about Yunus alayhi salatu wassalam. This La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min adh-dhalimin. Regarding that, Allah Ta'ala is saying, فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ. We accepted from him. وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْغَمِّ. And we saved him from grief. And وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِي الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Similarly, we will continue doing this, saving the mu'mineen who follow in his footsteps, who are thirsty for the nur of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who are searching for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and humbling themselves completely and totally. Rather, they are wearing the garments of helplessness, humility in front of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So we're talking about the spiritual dimension there. So Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, towards the end, he would make a lot of talqeen about this here. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min adh-dhalimin. Similarly of the Sayyidul Istighfar, whether it was Qari Tayyib Sahab, whoever came to his gathering, he would make talqeen and tell them, read Sayyidul Istighfar. Tuba liman wajada fi sahifatihi istighfaran kathira. Congratulations and glad tidings be to the one who finds in his book of deeds tomorrow on the day of Qiyamah abundant tawbah and istighfar. So Yunus alayhi salatu wassalam recited this. He didn't just recite it like that there, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min adh-dhalimin, just customary. No, not at all. Rather, he understood himself to be gunegar and a sinner. Listen to the waqia and the incident of Zunnun Misri, that when Egypt was hit with the severe drought and famine, at that time people gathered on the outskirts and they all turned to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, crying, begging Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to send rain. But the heavens did not have mercy and not one droplet of rain came down. At that time, Dhunnun Misri said, it is because of the evil effects of my sins, and let me leave this gathering, so then the mercy of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will then come down, due to which rain will come. He left, and after that there, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala sent the rain. Somebody asked Hazrat Tanvi that was he really such a sinner? So Hazrat Tanvi said, answered something like that, or whatever answer he did give, it is greatly possible that it could be that way there. But I say this here, that it is because he confessed and acknowledged his own sins. Allah Ta'ala appreciated this i'tiraf and confession of sins so much that Allah Ta'ala sent down the rains immediately. There, in the court of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, there is no shortage of obedience. Yes, there is a great shortage of confession of sins. Lower yourself, humble yourself, confess and acknowledge your sins in front of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. A'tarifu bidambi, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself done it, Oh Allah, I confess and I acknowledge my sins. وَأَبْتَهِلُ إِلَيْكَ إِبْتِهَالَ الْمُذْنِبِ الذَّلِيلِ, and I turn to you the turning of a wretched and disgraced sinner. وَأَدْعُوكَ دُعَاءَ الْخَائِفِ الضَّرِيرِ. And I ask you and I make dua to you, I call out to you the calling of a fearful person. So jisne mitaya apna naam o nishan, you have to humble yourself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Haft iqlim ka bana sota, मैं अपना नाम और निशा मिटा बेता, शोहरा उड़ा दिया मेरा किसने. Allah Ta'ala, let us understand this path to Him and give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of walking this path to Him. Allah Ta'ala bless us with His proximity. Allah Ta'ala bless us with acceptance. But remember, al-ajzu fakhri, helplessness, servitude is my honor. So I took ajizi and I reached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what Sayyidina Rifai says. And that person who does not have the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his heart, how is he alive? You people have called me here on the connection of deen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me the tawfiq and the hidayat of fulfilling the haqq of that. My coming here also is a great fortune for me, I understand. Allah Ta'ala bless me with the fruits and the rewards of it as well. Allah Ta'ala bless us with the fuyuz and the barakat of Ramadan. Allah Ta'ala bless us with His nisbat and His love, His ma'rifat and His connection. Allah Ta'ala bless us with His muhabbat. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.